Well, it's another one of the most impressive developments in French politics in the last week. Eric Ciotti, who's been at the helm since 2022 of Républicain, has now been expelled from the party. That's after a meeting between some of the deputies in the political decision-making of the right-wing party here behind me at the Social Museum, just about 100 meters away from the headquarters, which were locked. That was on directive from Ciotti earlier in the day at about 12 p.m., anticipating this meeting from those deputies in the high-ranking positions, and this all stems from a response to Ciotti's statements and comments yesterday, where he said that an alliance with the national rally of Marine Le Pen was in the interests of Les Républicains. So he has now been expelled. It was a unanimous decision from inside the chamber there behind me. And now the question remains who is going to likely step into his place. Well, we do have word on that. It is going to be General Secretary of the movement, Annie Genevard, as well as François-Xavier Bellamy, who has been holding the position on the list of the European elections, at least the parliamentary elections for Les Républicains, a party which didn't perform well there, but now they do have two people basically taking a joint leadership mandate over from Eric Ciotti, who will now be vacating his position. Ciotti responding after this, he said the meeting organized this afternoon was basically implemented in flagrant violation of our statutes as Les Républicains. He says none of the decisions taken at this meeting have any legal consequences. It can have criminal consequences, in fact. This is what he said on social media. I am and remain the president of our political party, elected by the members. So Ciotti clearly in disagreement with any basic decisions taken by this body in the chamber behind me today at the Social Museum.
Yeah, just an extraordinary moment, Jean-Emile. As you say, we have party officials saying, look, Ciotti's out. And you have Ciotti himself saying, I remain the president of the party. Just do we have any sense now as to practically what this means? You mentioned potentially a new leader, and what the Republicans do now. Will some of them be joining Emmanuel Macron's alliance? Will anybody but Ciotti be going to join Marine Le Pen and the far right?
Well, it was interesting because ahead of this, the far-right president, Jordan Bardella, he praised Ciotti for his bravery by basically saying that an alliance was possible with the national rally. He obviously received criticism from a large part of his Republican Party, but at the same time, the National Rally themselves believe that there are enough people in the Republicans who would side with them, regardless of Ciotti or not. So there seems to be a belief, at least from their side, that they do have that supporter base, and they also gave their assurances that they would back those MPs who would show any kind of favour towards the National Rally in Parliament, with those parliamentary elections coming up in just under 3 weeks' time, after that bombshell National Assembly dissolution by Emmanuel Macron and those new elections to come. But then there is the other side, which might show more moderate favour with Emmanuel Macron's Renaissance, and that might be at least a representation of the likes of Gérald Darmanin, and he's the Interior Minister who did leave the Républicains to join the Renaissance, as well as Bruno Le Maire, the current economy minister. So there are those who definitely see a more moderate tone as being the future. Then if you ask the likes of former president of Les Républicains, Valérie Pécresse, who spoke just before this meeting, she said that neither an alliance with the extreme right or with the centrists of Macron would actually work in their favour. So a bit of an alienation there for Républicains to contend with, and to see if they indeed will form any of a coalition. Pécresse, who was ousted, at least or replaced by Ciotti after that dismal showing at the presidential election run-in in 2022, said there is no place for traitors or small-time putschists. So very strong words ahead of this meeting, and it was reflected in the way that they at least expelled Ciotti after the meeting. But in terms of the political future of the party, it is at a crossroads, and there are fears that this could be the disintegration of Les Républicains, who have been very much synonymous with French history since Charles de Gaulle, and then with their presidents Jacques Chirac and Nicolas Sarkozy. So a lot of questions now to be asked in the future, and just 3 weeks to go to form that alliance.